Hey, universe! So imagine my chagrin when I realized that I had opened a brand new segment of episodes. One called, wait, what did I call this one? Could be No One Knows. Yes, could be No One Knows. Seems like lately nobody does know. But I do know that I shouldn't have led that entire segment off without at least telling you what the abuse you'll put up with if you're going to listen to this, along with what the rewards are over the long haul if you're that kind of person. But knowing that I should have gotten to that and then never having gotten to it, but then gotten to this, well, here at 42, pause. Oh, yeah. Oh, it could be. Oh, oh. Yeah, it could be No One Knows. So, there's first on your list. I do drugs. Talk about drugs. I'm very personal about drugs. My 300th episode is me watching the movie 300 while tripping on mushrooms. I highly recommend you avoid that episode at all costs. I'm sort of glad that it came out to be my 300th episode because if you're one of those by default numerologists who just heads for things that are tens, hundreds, and whatevers, you're going to run into that episode and go, oh my God, that was torturous. I'll never listen to another thing this guy has to say. Well, good for you. That's the first intelligent thing I've heard out of your mouth today. Pause. And I'm not even going to pause. I'm just going to put you through this because, like I said, if you can't put up with a dab or two, and you don't even know what a dab is, then I really don't think this is for you. And even if you do know what a dab is, this isn't for you. I mean, this is for me. This is my verbal blah diary that lets me know where I was a year ago, where I'm going right now, and if that gets anywhere in a year from now. 2 years from now. I don't know when I'll look back on this, but I will. And it'll have purpose because it's my fucking life. But it's not yours. So if you're listening to this again, I'm wondering why. Pause. All right. So yeah, you're going to put up with some drugs. You're going to put up with some swearing in case you hadn't figured that part out. I'm self-indulgently always talking about me, 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 me. Even off key. It's all about me. And I ain't got no inhibitions, so I'll talk about anything. Like at one point just go listen. I talk about shit that's so personal, so revealing, and frankly, so what I shouldn't be talking about. Because this is a diary to me and me only. So who cares what I talk about? Certainly not you. You can't care what I talk about. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me. So if I care what I'm talking about, well then I care what I'm talking about. And that's all that matters. So to ever think that this will be about anything but me, well, the joke's on thee. I'll throw this one in. You never know when I might use the term ironic incorrectly. So, if like me, you're the kind of person who thinks, fuck no, man, you can't use ironic incorrectly. That's just butchering the English language 1 yard too far. Now, I agree with you, but are we talking front yard, backyard, or actual yard? Well, if it's 3 feet, then I think we've made a pointless point. If it's a front yard, well then my front yard could use some work, so let's not go there. If it's a backyard, my backyard could use even more work, so why are we there? So do you see what I'm saying? This is about me. There's nothing here for you. So why am I doing this? Well, because I like to swear, and this is how I get it out in public. Duh. Okay. Because I'm trying to figure out the epiphany I'm going through, which is somewhat mystical, somewhat practical, somewhat midlife crisis, I suppose, and somewhat just getting my shit together, and somewhat redefining my entire structure of reality as I know it. So, with those things in mind, well, you can expect some crying. Unfortunately, you can expect more crying than you think you can expect. Yeah, expect that much crying. And then be like, oh, I wonder if there'd be more crying than that. And then think, yep, probably. So you're lucky that in this episode, I don't believe there is any crying. Wait, am I lying? I don't even know. I know I've cried today, so it's hard to know if that was on tape or not. And I'll even use anachronisms like on tape because, What do I know? The last time I was doing any legitimate recording, it was on tape. And now that it's on phone or on digital or into the internet ethers where it's forever captured for the CIA to roll around in like a pile of nickels, well, okay. Whatever this is, it's for me. It's a personal investigation into the confession of a life lived mostly selfishly, certainly indulgently, and in many ways to the capacity that I'm now here to be the person I was always supposed to be. I don't know what caused me to take a 35-year hiatus and go out there and do all kinds of nuttiness, but I did. And I don't regret it. I don't even look back on it as something that I would change if I were to relive my life, but it's given me an interesting perspective of where I am right now. And while I treat everything with kindness and understanding, I can't always come into everything with a full knowledge of what's going on because I feel like there's a lot of things I don't understand right now. All kinds of conundrums in this world are pickling me up, making me think I don't have up from down or left from right or inside from outside or any of it. But I don't get consumed by that. I certainly don't allow it to dictate who I am or what I'm up to. Because what I've been up to for, well, months now, is reorganizing my life according to values that appeared and solidified about 6-7 years ago. Maybe 10, maybe 12. They've been here a while. And I feel like my life now needs to follow them in lockstep if it's going to get to the purposeful destination that it seems to be headed. So that's what I'm up to. So why all the crying? I don't know. I'm a very empathic person. I feel all kinds of things coming at me from all kinds of directions, and frankly, that can fuck me up. It can fuck me up so much that I'll misspeak. I'll use people's names incorrectly. I'll use a word incorrectly. I'll say a word incorrectly because I don't edit this. I just leave it all in there. Why would I want to edit who I am? This is me. This is my statement about me in this universe, doing the best I can at all times. Does that always work out great? Fuck no! But does it work out great more than I think I deserve? Probably. Do I need to keep answering myself with these kinds of questions in that voice? Yes! So I'm going to quit asking myself questions. But while sometimes I can be purposeful in my context, a lot of times I'm just dropping thoughts. I start something that makes me tangent into something else, that makes me think something else, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 I'm ballooning into things that even I don't know where I've gone. Well, do I need to slow that all down? Maybe. Maybe I do. But I don't jump in front of all of my mistakes, all of my drop thoughts, and all of my lost, circuitous, thorn bushy ends, because that's not my point. My point is to do as much as I can to capture as many of the thoughts as I'm thinking right now that are affecting my life in a way that maybe even might be affecting your life similarly. I should probably see what that's about. Hang on. Well, my friend who forgets about me more than any other friend I have just realized she forgot about me again, and what are you going to do? Okay. So I always bring an upbeat attitude. I'm always solutions-oriented. I'm always trying to be a positive influence on the universe, even when, once again, I'm being overlooked. I just don't feel like there's a time in the universe when you want to hold grudges, or you want to bring negative energy, or you even want to be somebody who's caught up in justifiably finding a path to correct the wrongs that have befallen them. You know why those wrongs befall you? Because your karma demands it. So, you want better outcomes, live a better life, be a better person, and go about the world in a way that's more meaningful to you from the inside. And I guess that's kind of what I've been living. It's working out pretty well. I wouldn't say that I've got it all figured out, but I definitely am pointed in the right direction in so many different ways that I can't help but say, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what I was supposed to be doing all along. And if I'd have been doing this all along, well, maybe everything else would already have figured itself out. But not everything else has figured itself out, and everything else that I am trying to do is still in process. So the next thing that I'm going to do, well, it's something slightly different than the thing I'm doing now, and the thing I'm going to do next after that will be something slightly different, and yada yada, until I've got a whole different life that's built on the new me. And that's the plan, right? I mean, what else can you have as a plan? if you're going to redefine your life at the age of 53, well, almost 54, I guess the way you go about doing that is with the deliberate intent of pointing yourself somewhere that matters to you. And maybe for the first time ever figuring that out recently, well, I now know what matters to me the most. And that is to persist in this universe of chaos with a kind, understanding, and forgiving nature. Listen as much as I possibly can to the people around me and always be willing to say, hey, there's always another day in which to fight this battle. If it's not working out today, tomorrow's a day when maybe it will. And with that attitude, I think, well, could be no one knows. Could be no one knows how simple it is to get this shit done and done right. Or could be that I'm just a fool, one in an island of 7.7 billion who just is here to see how ludicrous it all is. Either way, I leave you with the follies and foibles of me because, what else I got to give the universe, right? Enjoy. Pause. Well, good morning, universe. It is Thursday. Whoop. I've done none of my pregame checklists, so hold on. Pause. Okay. Well, I still don't know what to name this next section. I don't even know if there should be a next section. Maybe I should have just quit with I could be right. But I don't feel like any of my conundrums have been solved, and since I've piled one on, well, shouldn't I continue trying to figure out life? Isn't that the point? Aren't we here trying to do life better today than we did it yesterday? Isn't the sequential nature of linear time one action follows another action follows another action follows another action follows a hi kitty, whatever it is? I don't know that February, March, and April, well, and now May, I guess, have represented my best attempt at life. So why would I want to end it on a B- note? And I will admit, I've been hijacked by an experience I didn't understand until, I guess, experiencing it in the last 10 weeks. So there's been some disruptive forces of new and previously unforeseen quantity, at least. If not completely new origin variable in play for first time ever. But while that derailment has mostly subsided and in fact will never be solved, it just exists, that doesn't stop the flow of linear fucking time. And I know I'm much more afforded the opportunity to sit back and mull shit over. Give it some thought. Let it gel and coalesce for a minute and see where it ends up. And yet, having that luxury creates all of the paralysis that comes with thinking about things too much, letting the emotive side of something develop too highly, being hyperly aware of everything in play to the point that you just don't have moves to make. Yeah, that level of emotional hamstrung, self-constricting play of life. Well, that one I'm if not an advanced pro, then certainly somebody in the all-star caliber. And I realized that part of having something else to do other than think about your life, like, say, a job, or just a regular bridge club, but having something else to do helps give your life balance, perspective, and needed otherness to an inquiry of continual drill down of why did I do this? Why do I think this? Why am I feeling this? Why can't I get over this? Why is this influence so stark? Why is this influence so stark ravingly bad? And why am I not playing tennis right now, right? All the whys that you run down when you give yourself a chance to push into who you really are and what you're really up to. Well, I know I'm not a mermaid because I can't swim worth a shit, and I know I'm not up to anything nefarious because I just don't have that in me. So then, having gotten that much nailed down, well, I think I'll pause, go do some yard work, and see what spontaneous thought of... Hey, I totally accidentally paused right there. Oh well, pause. Okay, since I paused, instead of stop, I think, well, pause. Okay, if I want to talk about anything this next block, I want to talk about the 12 universal laws of existence in I believe, agnostic, or maybe I will know that the next time I speak about it. However, these 12 universal laws are a somewhat guiding sense of energetic force, if you will, maybe taking Obi-Wan Kenobi's thoughts and expanding on them. And that's just my opinion, so don't harsh. But I have found a lot of wisdom in these laws and a lot of applicability to the track they lay. And the law of correspondence, the idea that what's inside of you is what projects the universe outside of you, to me is the one that caught my eye the first. And so, if I'm going to talk about anything in this block, when it comes to these, I want to try to relate them to personal experiences that help me unfold the universe of energy as I see it now in play for all of us. And why I think that the solution to the current dilemma we're in is to just start treating everybody better. And yeah, I know there are challenges to face, to overcome, and frankly to iron out to make any of that even viable. But those challenges are the kind of challenges civilizations ascend to meet and eradicate. And to me, are the kind of challenges that are worth fighting for. So our yard work, though, I got a lot of that to do. So there's no way that I'm just going to sit inside today and talk about shit when there's no rain out there. But the rain was a big push to making me lazy. So I got to get over that. Even though it's cloudy and crappy, it's not raining. And that means it's time. Okay, universe. Well, counting today, there are 42 days between now and my birthday. This will be my 54th birthday. So I'm 12 days behind on syncing that up. But I figure in 42 days' time, I've got to come up with some level of direction in which to guide my current sense of destiny and purpose in life. Yeah, it sounds a little optimistic to me as well, so don't think me and the dog aren't sitting here going, wait, what did I just say? Pause. Okay, well, what I did just say is that I have a sense of purpose, destiny, and direction in life, and I need to put those to the abject paces, as it were, that bring fulfillment in not just having those directions, but in enabling them, enacting them, and making something of them. Being kind, being generous, being forgiving, being understanding. All of the things that I was put here to be. 42 days to figure out how to do that. And 42 days, frankly, to do a little bit more working out. I've been lethargic for a week with all the rain, and I can tell that if I let myself go, I will let myself go, and I don't want to let myself go, so it's time to do some exercising. So I think today I'm going to go through my free weights routine and give myself 6 weeks of putting myself into the kind of shape that at 54 maybe will be the best shape of my life. I guess I owe myself one gift. That would be one worth giving. So for anybody out there that thinks, right, when there's nothing of relevancy to turn your life around, well, there always is something of relevancy to turn your life around. You can always find something to go measure yourself up against and measure yourself up against 5 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, whatever it may be, and find improvement and take pride in that. Life isn't challenging if you just will set simple enough goals that you keep achieving over and over again on your way to whatever successes it is you want to build yourself toward. And I know I say these things as if they come second nature to me, which they do not. I too, like everybody, have to work at the things I'm weakest at. What I'm weakest at is believing in myself and thinking I deserve it. But having having those limitations constantly at the front of my mind, I'm able to fend them off for the most part. And while they certainly incapacitated me here in most of March, if not all of April, well, they're not going to conquer my May. No. No, at some point I had to pull myself out of the self-imposed doldrum I was putting myself in, and it seems like today is the day. Like I said, 42 days between now and my 54th birthday feels awfully symbolic. Symbolic of a turnaround that's deserved, and one, frankly, that I forgot I was here reacting when I was letting myself throw a pity party that I don't deserve. Pause. So, relating to the law of correspondence again here, I suppose I'll use a few recordings to completely drill down how I believe this law caught my attention. But that which you are inside, that which you have maybe sold out on, is what you'll find the universe selling out on. My example would be porn. As the internet made porn available and readily accessible, well, if you dove into satisfying yourself via the digital screen, rather than, again, finding relevant human relations, not that I wasn't doing both, but the proliferation of porn into the enterprise that it became, well, in some ways that's because enabled in my head had always been the thought that quick and easy release of said seminal fluid was the kind of thing that was just there to be taken advantage of. Now, having lost most of my libido, I don't find myself in any way. I mean, when was the last time I was on a porn website? 3 years ago? 4 years ago? I mean, it's been a while. And I purged myself of all my porn. It's not the kind of thing anymore that has gratification tied to it. If anything, it feels filthy. And so, as my emergence into this industry, naive though it was both feet into the deep end as quickly as possible, and then my overall opinion of this industry having flipped 180 degrees since then, to the point that I've purged myself of all porn and haven't even been on a website that would be porn-oriented in years. Well, my immediate environment should start radiating that change in who I am. In other words, we should see a decline in the proliferation of porn if what's on the inside is something that manifests on the outside. That's my guess. But then how do you explain things like censorship, which I couldn't be more against? How is the proliferation of censorship across the internet something that my inside has enabled in some sort of reflection of the law of correspondence? I don't know. And so when you hear these things, it's like hearing a horoscope, right? You're like, oh yeah, it totally fucking describes me. Until you hear one that's another descriptor, and that one totally describes you too. Or maybe neither describe you, and thus you can dismiss the whole thing. victims to that, the crime of apparently not being able to define this term once again. What is it with me? And, oh my God. The next time I can't figure out confirmation bias makes me wonder what has that term so discombobulated in my head when it is third, second, or first in the biases that most stagnate our mental thinking processes and keep us from finding seminal truth. And this time I mean seminal in a different way than I meant it the last time I used it. But my level of shattering of confirmation bias is part of what leaves me feeling like one among 7.7 billion. I just don't know who anymore I can trust. I don't even trust the people who I'm making friends with. I don't. And that's a terrible place to be. Because it's not that I mistrust them. That isn't the point. The point is that no matter who we are anymore, we've come to some wrong thinking patterns, myself included. I'm obviously not immune to this. And so when I say I don't trust my fellow human, it's because I don't know what we don't know about each other that's wrong and right and in between. And so I can only go with what I think I know from within. And maybe I can build a bridge across this knowledge base where all we work with is the idea of what we've got to build from our experiences together instead of what we're being told to think, this, that, or whatever platform we're pretending our allegiance is preeminent for. I don't buy into any of that. I buy into human interaction. I buy into the experience that is built when two people have an exchange of time and space in which there's commonality of activity. And from that grows trust and camaraderie. And from that grows the need to help and be there for society at large, which then builds the best possible version of what we grow into as a community of humanity. It's that simple. And the law of correspondence, I think, is what makes it simple. That if you can just keep a pure intent from within, well, you can have a pure world from without. And yeah, I haven't been that guy my whole life, no doubt about it. But as I think about opening up this next sequence and what I'm hoping to do with these 42 days of, it's almost my birthday, what can I get done between now and then? Well, Mr. Adams, with 42 days in which to act, now 41 and a third, because this day is 2/3 gone, I can do some family bonding. I can do some rah-rah cheering for the Nuggets from afar. I can take care of my dog. I can get some yard work done. I can take care of myself physically, and I can get some work done in the kitchen. It sounds like a robust day. And then I can get up tomorrow with the same sort of I got shit to get done attitude and proceed from there. And I don't really have much more of a plan right now, other than I know I'm worth it. I'm going to succeed at the next things I take on. And to do so, I've got to be in the right frame of mind to know that a step or two along the way, one here, likely in the next week, that will already have me questioning whether or not I'm doing the right thing. Well, having seen these things a coming, don't be alarmed by the fact that they're present, and move past them with whatever grace and integrity I'm able to display. That sounds like an overall plan that accounts for everything. Whether it accounts for what happens to me in the next 42 days, who knows? But with 42 days to figure that out, well, just like you, in many ways, I just cannot wait to see what the next thing is that happens in my life.